and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Does it seem like your clothes dryer doesn't dry like it used to? It may not be your dryer. It may be your dryer vent. When the vent becomes obstructed, it drastically reduces the efficiency of your dryer. Even worse, it can be a fire hazard. Here's the simple solution. Call Bryant. Bryant will thoroughly clean the vent and show you the before and after results. Call 467-1111. Keep your dryer operating efficiently and your home safe. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
I see the future in our public school classrooms every day. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. I also see how critically important parent and community support is to our students' success. Support your public schools. Get involved. Form a business-school partnership or become a school volunteer. Great schools and great communities work hand in hand.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Monday, Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. DP is rolling with the Supernovas out in San Diego. So do not feel sorry for him. He left early this morning, I think, by his tweet. And they are probably there. And he's probably in great weather and having a good time. But we are Old School, brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop. 2 Lincoln locations, 84th and Havelock, 33 Yankee Hill. Omaha location, 168th and Maple. We are live in effect down here at the Ticket, 1040 O Street. We always like to say on this windy Monday, I think you have gusts of 40 miles an hour. We are the mecca of sports radio, located right here in your own Lincoln, Nebraska. Look at Strick. Look at Strick going. Look. Strick almost got clipped.
Stricky.
Yeah, he didn't have. Hey, his short yard shuttle wasn't very good, but he got flip flops on, so we're gonna make sure he didn't.
Is it the flip flops or is it the Strick?
Strick. Yeah. I think Strick might have tried to get a little life insurance claim right there, but
he is complaining about NIL and all these NBA contracts. He's probably looking for his own payout right now.
Yeah, I understand it though. So we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to discuss. We're going to talk about NBA playoffs. We're going to talk about the NFL draft coming up. Now you're going to start seeing some stuff. Trades more locked in. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the quarterbacks. I mean, if you turn the TV on, on Monday you'll see this person. I think the foregone conclusion Caleb Williams is going number 1. That's obvious. It's been very obvious, probably in the middle of the season. Even when his dad said he was going to go back to USC, which was never going to happen. Good negotiating ploy, though.
Is that one of those things that's worth a shot or just ridiculous because of the headache it caused?
I think it's worth a shot. I mean, Caleb Williams didn't say it. Why not? If you can get the equivalent of, say, your signing bonus and maybe put yourself in a better situation and more money the next year and with a rookie contract, and you're potentially going to go number 1 again. Why not? But the battle for number 2 and what happens after that, and it's going to be pretty exciting in that first 6 to 10 picks. I think is going to, just in my opinion, is going to be pretty exciting. We got college basketball transfer portal news. We got some basketball news as well. And we'll play a little bit of, if we can get to it, which we should get to it, a little bit of a Matt Rule presser from Saturday's practice / scrimmage. He highlighted a few players, and that'll fill out the 2 o'clock or 2 hours, and then lead you right into Royals. And then also at 7 o'clock, tune in for the Supernovas. No, that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yes, I'm tripping. The Royals will be on starting at 6, and then tomorrow at 7 p.m. DP and I think Coach Renee Saunders will be on the call for the Supernovas out there in San Diego. So that'll be a good call because that's a pretty good rivalry. And then also as you get closer to, I think May 12th is the end of their season. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see some more games kind of, punched in these next few weeks. Playoff positioning. I think it's the final 4 teams. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully Omaha Supernovas will be able to do it and host a couple playoff games or playoff matches, excuse me. In this first year of professional volleyball. But the big news, not big news, but one of my big things is the NBA playoffs. Everybody's played a game. It's you're getting your second go round here. Obviously I'm a big Lakers fan, LeBron fan. I think it comes down look, LeBron and AD are going to play. I think LeBron got a little bit too lackadaisical in the second half with the turnovers. That was disappointing because I think the biggest thing LeBron brings, ideally, and I want your opinion on this, Austin, and this is basketball in general, is your ability to think your way through a second half. It's almost like a quarterback controlling the whole game. Controlling the pace, controlling every possession. And I think, that's when you look at LeBron when he won the championship with the Lakers, and even before, and maybe even the year after, it was game, set, match. I think Denver leaned on their championship pedigree, and I think the role players, obviously D'Angelo Russell struggled, just got outplayed by Michael Porter Jr. or whoever. It's either Michael Porter Jr., Caldwell Pope, or Gordon. Your backup players or your secondary players have to break even or outplay them, or you don't have a chance to beat Denver.
Yeah, you're definitely onto something there. And I think there's 2 ways that Los Angeles can go about it. Number one is, I think leaning into that every possession matters execution.
Yeah.
Just try to be better at a higher level. Now that means like a guy like Austin Reeves has to step up. D'Angelo Russell can't continue to, hit the backboard and nothing else on shots. You have to be able to trust those guys to step up. The more interesting strategy to me would be to go full UConn. Treat the Nuggets like they're Purdue. Just let Jokic get to whatever the heck he wants and stay face guarding man-to-man.
Jamal
Murray, even Pope, Aaron Gordon to some degree, because Denver thrives on that off-the-ball movement and that feel, right? And so much of that is Nikola Jokic. Dare Jokic to have a 35% usage rate. He doesn't like to do that.
Yeah.
He likes to pick his spots. He likes to, like you say, play quarterback and put other guys in position to succeed. I wonder how committed he would be to taking, 25, 30 shots a game if the Lakers presented it. Yeah, he's going to score a lot of points, but the harder you make it for everyone else, it's just going to make him a little uncomfortable. Maybe try that for a game. You have to switch it up against him too.
And maybe try it for a quarter or two when you're maybe have a lead, and now here's what I want to ask you, just to piggyback on that. Would you switch Anthony Davis off of him? Or would you, since you're letting him essentially have at it, would you run different bodies at him and save Anthony Davis to be able to be in a switch with, Austin Reeves and Jamal Murray? So then you have a better, you're putting, because Anthony Davis could play D and he's long and athletic, to really, really hamper in on okay, we are going to try to eliminate a lot of you other guys and really put it on Jokic's back.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. AD's a good one-on-one defender, but Jokic cooks everyone. So I don't want to, like you're saying, put that strain on him and even that scrutiny to do something that no one in the world is tasked with. Well,
he's not going to get any help. So then you're really at his back. You're really at his beck and call.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I do is I almost use AD more like Giannis, right? Where Giannis isn't the primary, paint protector. It's Brook Lopez's job. Yeah. He'll play drop. He'll protect the rim. But what makes Giannis so good is how much ground he can cover, and he's so good coming from the weak side.
And that's when AD is really at his best.
AD is at his best that way, too.
Off
so
the ball
stick him on
defender.
Peyton Watson. Stick him on Aaron Gordon if he's out, right? So he can roam off the ball, go for steals, protect the rim from the weak side.
And that's really when he's at his best as a defender. And that's why he probably always says he doesn't want to play center.
Right.
But the problem is offensively, presents so much problems for centers defensively. And so if Lakers had somebody on their roster right now, which they don't have, they're able to do that, it would pay dividends. So we talked about that. That's going to be a interesting how they handle tonight, because generally if Nuggets get up 2-0, it's going to be hard to win next 4 out of 5. I don't think it. I can see the Lakers going 2-0 at home and being 2-2. Then it will come down to Game 5, and that's going to be the series. But they have a chance to surprise Denver. I think Denver has shown some chinks in their armor, and that's hard. Look, they're defending champs. It's hard, and so I could see somebody upsetting them. But right now they are rolling pretty good. Another, I want to ask you: are you more impressed with the Timberwolves or an Ant-Man, of course, or OKC? What you saw them against the Zion-less Pelicans, barely squeaking out a 2-point victory last night.
I have no clue what to make of those two series, because I still think that Phoenix is a terrible matchup for Minnesota, but they dominated. Ant was talking his trash.
That's what we do.
And I love it.
That's
right?
what we do. We do our thing. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised necessarily, but I just thought basketball-wise, that game was going to be tighter. That's a big credit to Rudy, to Ant, to Alexander Walker, to McDaniel, obviously, and Mike Conley really having a career resurgence these last couple of years. Minnesota's good, right? The number one defense in the league for a reason. Phoenix counters by playing small, and I thought that was going to give Minnesota more fits. So I'm not exactly sure if this first game was the outlier, game one emotion, first time back at home in the playoffs, for a series like this in a while, or if it is going to be, more of the norm. The Oklahoma City and Pelican series, I have some similar but different questions, because on the one hand, New Orleans does have a lot of centers, even without Zion there. And that's been the one question. Chet's good, not a true center. You saw Nance play some bully ball. You saw Valanciunas play some bully ball at times. And OKC only squeaked out with a 2-point win. But if New Orleans was going to win a dirty, grimy game like this,
first one,
it had to be this one, because I think Oklahoma City now knows it can cover Brandon Ingram one-on-one.
Right.
They can trust Cason Wallace on CJ McCollum, that Jalen Williams is going to have a big role to play, and that Shea can get anywhere he wants, even against Herb Jones. So as a Pelicans enjoyer, not a fan, but someone who likes watching their style of play, I hope it's a sign that we're in for a really good 1-8 series. But as a Thunder appreciator for the way they've built their team, how they feel even ahead of schedule, I'm worried that New Orleans just missed its best shot.
Yeah, to really turn the league or turn the Western Conference upside down. I think that was a great opportunity, because they outplayed them for pretty much about 3.5 quarters. I felt
that's
like
they gained a huge run.
And but OKC showed a little bit of mettle, even though they don't have any kind of playoff experience. So I think they're a well coached team. Shea's one of the elite players in the league, and on a team of young players, he is head and shoulders their guy. Chet's a close second, but I think Chet can be defensed by physicality. And so once Chet learns how to play around and through some physicality, I think you'll see games like that be the outlier, versus this is going to be. I think OKC is going to win the series, but I think it's going to be a grind. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think the Pelicans have underachieved because you had Zion all year.
Right.
And so when you have them for all this, you should be a higher seed than number 8. That's my opinion.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. But don't forget, they ended up 2 games back of the Clippers, right? They were in that mess in the middle.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to give them a pass for this year, because it was their first full year with him.
Zion,
So next year's got to be the year.
Yeah.
If there's going to
be.
And
they got to make some moves too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other series I want to ask you about real quick, which is I think it's the Clippers are going to win. I think the Clippers they are in a great position, I feel, because everybody's talking about OKC. They're talking about the Lakers. You're talking about Ant-Man. Nobody's talking about the Clippers. And if there's ever a position where the Clippers can kind of sneak in the back door, or ever a year, this is the year. Nobody's talking about them. Kawhi's relatively healthy. Westbrook's happy. You saw James Harden have a resurgence. And it was to the point that the Clippers were playing so well as a cohesive as a team, offensively and defensively, led by former Husker Tyronn Lue, that you saw Kyrie. Kyrie's usually a cool and collective guy, even under stressful situations. because he's so immensely skilled. I don't know if you saw it. You saw him lose his you-know-what on the bench, and it was frustration because that's the championship. Kyrie's been a champion.
Yeah.
Right? He knows what it takes. And it also it shows he's actually invested in Dallas.
Right.
Because I thought he was going to Dallas as the trade, then he was going to go somewhere else. And then he signed back with Dallas. Lets me know he's invested.
Mm-hmm.
And it lets me know he's frustrated by some things internally that haven't been maybe either addressed or rectified during the season because it just comes out in the highest pressure situation.
Yeah, the Clippers aspect of this, do they allow 8 points in a quarter again? Probably not.
No.
Again, they won by 12. But you're right that I think they're in a nice position for them. Getting home court in the first round is big. If that 1-8 series is a grind, that benefits the Clippers, who, they're older, but they're battle tested. They've been there before. I think Kawhi's going to come back healthy. I really do. I mean, he didn't load manage or miss that much time this year. I think he's in a better spot. And the Clippers had a stretch like right around the new year where it was them in Boston in the finals or bust.
Yeah.
The Clippers were playing some of the best basketball in the NBA. Cooled off a little bit, didn't find their rhythm after the All-Star break, still managed to snag the 4 seed. So I do think they're in a really good spot. Dallas is interesting to monitor just because of the whole, is Luka the next James Harden sort of thing?
Yeah.
Right. He's done more in the playoffs to this point in his career than James Harden has, individually. But is there a next step? Is there a next level? Are these the right pieces for Dallas? I don't know. I mean, Dallas was the second best team in the NBA over the last 20, 25 games of the year. It was them in Boston in that rating. So we know there's a good team there in Dallas, but are they better able to leverage their strengths? Because I don't think anyone on Los Angeles can credibly guard Luka for 48 minutes.
You can't guard or Kyrie, but when you look at Dallas, they don't have anybody else.
Right.
PJ Washington.
Hey, Derek Lively, man.
Yeah, but nobody. They don't have anybody else. You have a starter that didn't have any points. You had another one that had 3. And on the bench, the most you got was Tim Hardaway Jr. with 6. And he only played 16 minutes. And you got to think, you lost by 12 points to the Clippers, and Paul George couldn't hit, throw a rock in the ocean as far as his capabilities. You know what I mean? But you had a great game from Russell Westbrook. Powell came off and provided, the defensive, intensity. And then obviously Mason Plumlee, who didn't give you any points, but the physicality and to give Zubac some arrest means they don't have to change what they do.
No.
You got one big brute in Zubac that's obviously more offensively skilled and better defensively, but not too much of a drop-off defensively with this second unit. And you didn't even get PJ Tucker in there, which he's probably mad. But I think
Tuckwagon keeps rolling.
Yeah, I know, right? He's going to be in the league for 25 years, averaging 4 points for a career average. But I think that's a series to watch because I think if it doesn't turn around and a good showing, I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Kidd is a kind of a surprise firing, or they mutually decide to leave, and or do they try to? You might have to move Kyrie. I know you just signed him. Luka's the franchise guy. Tim Hardaway is a starter, I think, in this league. He's not starting. And you're going to have to add 1 or 2 more pieces to make this a viable Dallas Mavericks roster.
And I think it's got to be on the wing.
That's what I'm saying. Tim Hardaway is kind of like a stopgap, right?
Yeah. I think he's best at a 2 as well, which is overlap with Kyrie right now.
Right. And he plays better as that 2 with Luka. We'll see if things don't show some light, like, okay, this is how it can mesh. And Kyrie's a little bit older. Yeah. And there's plenty of places where Kyrie can play because he's actually played really well, and he's been a great teammate.
Well, his game can age better than some of these other point guards we've talked about getting traded around.
Right.
Like his game is going to age better than Westbrook's. Probably slightly better than even like Harden or even Conley. I think he's had a resurgence.
Right. And better than Chris Paul.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and he's healthy this year.
Yeah.
And he's invested. This is like it's like a resurgence of Kyrie. You're getting the best version of Kyrie at the end of his career, but nevertheless, never too late. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We're going to come back, talk a little bit of college basketball transfer portal news. We got a lottery pick that decided to declare for the draft. Nebraska has a commit. We had some local guys in St. Thomas. Where's he's going? What's the latest on Chucky Hebron? If anybody knows that, like out there, we need the texters to text in. We're going to take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 23rd is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, buy one, get one 50% off on Montova grilled artichokes. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly sunny skies, but it will be windy. See a high around 77. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms with a low around 49. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers in the morning, otherwise mainly sunny and breezy. And the afternoon high around 69. Meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. It's getting nicer outside, but it's still hit or miss in the spring on golf weather. Not at Double Eagle Golf. You're home for always 72-degree weather with no wind. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues are underway, but stay tuned for info on indoor golf tournaments and book your bay for after the spring game in late April. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Tuesday, April 23rd versus the San Diego Mojo at Viejas Arena in San Diego. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 8 p.m. with first serve at 9. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com. Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Excuse me. We are back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, second segment here, 4 o'clock hour. Before we get to the top of the 5 o'clock hour, we'll dive into some spring football or NFL draft and spring football, excuse me. But in this segment here, we're going to talk a little college basketball. We got some movement, like kind of Nebraska, like the affiliation with the state of Nebraska. I'd say this. We had Sip talk about Chucky Hebron earlier this morning. St. Thomas decided where he was going. C.J. Wiltshire, who I'm a big fan of, declared or committed to where he was going. And Nebraska got a commitment. And that's, then we got more stuff going on. And so we got one text in here. We'll just start right here, 3994. He says, I hear Chucky to Louisville, according to SIP. What do you think about that, Austin? Louisville, Elville.
Big L.
Who's famous for being from Louisville?
A lot of people. I don't know where your head's at specifically.
The greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way, yeah.
If you want a basketball sense or
what? Basketball sense. I was...
Peyton Siva.
Yeah. I was thinking more Denny Crum and Never Nervous Purvis Ellison. Sure. But it's a total different part of the country. I mean, if it happens, obviously Chucky will announce whenever he wants. Sip said it might be, a couple of those Bellevue, Thunderbirds going to get going. So look, man, it's new beginnings, new opportunities. I think there's been an influx of, correct me if I'm wrong, when Payne was, let go, one of his complaints was the support from an NIL recruiting budget, which is crazy. The recruiting budget wasn't on par with what he was used to from Kentucky. NIL as well support. He didn't get one of the things that the athletic director said that they're going to do more, which obviously they have to go out and try to potentially get a player or players at the caliber of Chucky Hebron. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because I think I always find it interesting that you hire this coach from Kentucky in Payne, well-respected coach, good player in his own right when he played, phenomenal coach. You've seen him, you know him, and this is after Mac and all this losing. Who I still don't know what happened. I know it's Zion and all this other, but he just seemed tailor-made for it. Because I was a big fan of his from when he was at Xavier. But then it's like somehow just magically you're going to get bigger recruiting budget and NIL support. It was almost like you're sabotaging the dude. Right?
Part.
Am I wrong?
No, you're on to something.
Okay, I just want. Maybe some donors didn't believe in him. I get it. I remember when Red McCombs was talking about Charlie Strong. I say he'd be a good defensive coordinator. Well, buddy, he's your head coach, and you are one of the biggest Texas, alumni and supporter financially. That's your head coach, and he just beat Oklahoma. So you better start opening up the checkbook. I just wonder about that. and who knows if it ever was going to really work out for him. But I think he gutted the roster. We're talking about a Payne. Had some unique characters on there. I remember the which I was like, he's gone after this press conference, where the player he was talking about, I don't know who they were playing, where they said he went back in the locker room and his mind wasn't right because he didn't have his tights on, the certain tights on.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you wouldn't be on the team. You know what I mean?
Not for a second.
But he came back and had a good game, but that's what he had to deal with. Those are the type of players you have to deal with sometimes.
Louisville itself has a lot going on. Kentucky has a lot going on. That whole state is just kind of in flux right now in a basketball sense. I don't think Nolan Smith played his cards correctly either, going from Duke to Louisville. I get why he went home to follow his dad's footsteps, but I don't think he was all in on Louisville, which is probably not helping Kenny Payne for that sabotaging even on his own staff. But it almost makes me wonder whose ring Kenny Payne didn't kiss on his way in the door. Because that should have been a coup for Louisville.
Right.
A guy with NBA ties, respected player, respected coach
Just
in his
came
own right.
You stole him
from Big Brother.
Yes.
Why do you not want to get behind that guy? And like Pat Kelsey, I've enjoyed his teams at College of Charleston. They've been, one of those, is this a sneaky, dark horse in the NCAA tournament teams, but haven't really done that much. Dominated the Colonial to some degree. I like him as a coach. It just felt really underwhelming for that program. And he's the guy you're going to go in and support. Like, did you suddenly have some epiphany? Oh, we messed up with Kenny Payne. Yeah. Now we're in on this guy. Color me skeptical that they had some epiphany.
Yeah. It just seems odd. And you're right. What booster didn't you kiss his or her butt, when you first got there? And it's different in Louisville. It is definitely different. Obviously, Rick Pitino has showed you it is, for him to go from Kentucky the NBA back to Louisville, it is definitely a different clientele per se. I'm who knows if Kenny Payne felt like he didn't have to because he came from Kentucky. We're better than you. I'm a legitimate coach. You just hired me. Maybe that was it. And then it was like, a death sentence from the beginning. But you're right. Like, now you open the checkbook for him. And it's not taking anything away from him.
Right.
But it just is odd. Like, this is a guy on whether it's, first of all, it checks every box. He's a good player, came up through the ranks with coaching, won a championship, a great recruiter. Okay. A great coach, assistant coach. You've seen him because it just be like me and you looking at a coach up at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, or Creighton. We know who he is. You've probably crossed paths with him out on the recruiting trail and just at different events. You're in Kentucky, for God's sake, right? You're not like one's in New York and one's in LA. You're in the same state. You know who he is, right?
Yeah, you play each other every darn year,
and you hired him. So that was a little odd.
And that brings us to Chucky. I don't get it, but I do at the same time. In a purely basketball sense, step down. Wisconsin is in a better. Now that Wisconsin's in a great place right now, but Wisconsin's in a better spot than Louisville. I don't think that's a question in my mind.
Right.
I think Greg Gard is a more proven coach than Pat Kelsey. I think Chucky's role could have been bigger at Wisconsin, potentially, with another year stepping into it.
Right.
It makes me wonder what it is Kelsey and Louisville see, because Chucky has to be getting a bag.
Sure.
I don't know any of the numbers, in particular. But
get it.
Absolutely go get it. Yeah. But to me, it almost feels like chasing the bag to some degree. And I respect Louisville for doing that. Right. I'm sure there's more that goes into it. But I don't know if I would need to be sold on Chucky Hepburn being the face of a program. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. But sometimes it could be a match made in heaven, but you haven't, the daylight hasn't, the sun, whatever hasn't shown up yet. And here's why.
That's fair.
And this is, I can only equate it to when I was in Houston. And you're trying to, and we didn't have bad guys, but in our, in the stadium or whatever. But you see it all the time in the NFL, whereas you're trying to change the culture. And you're trying to change, and Louisville's culture is gone. So
Chucky can be a culture guy for sure.
Right. So right. You can trust him off the field. He's a good-looking young kid. He's established. And what drives an offense from the get-go? How do you try to put good basketball on the court? It starts with your point guard.
Yep.
He has to be the best point guard in the transfer portal. He's one of the best point guards in the nation, period. So you're getting a legitimate player. You're getting him there. It's a good challenge for him. It's a different type of basketball now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it could open up his offensive game and then give him a more, I guess, exposure to say, okay, I can do more than just defense, third or fourth option on offense in my third or fourth year. And the reins will be off him a little bit, right? So let him to get, do some more stuff.
Or even if the reins aren't off, he'll at least have more control of them.
Yeah,
right.
More
I
control,
think guard's a
right.
control freak.
Right.
I don't know that Kelsey is.
No, so he's more free. So you here, if you want an example of going from Gonzaga for Hunter Salas to Wake Forest, look what it done for him.
Yeah,
it's still the same player. Yes, he worked on his game, but man, it looks like a totally different player. Not saying that Chucky didn't love Wisconsin because he could have left last year as well. So I think it could be a sneaky good get. The hard part will be, like you said, I don't know if it's the same quality of team that he's used to, and you only got 1 year. And so, I equate it to when I was in Houston. We had a really good defense, crappy offense. And sometimes you had to overpay for guys to get them to come. And if that's the case, more power to them. And I always tell kids, if this is something that you choose to do, and I'm all, first of all, let me say, you would have to give me, like, if I was, say in my second year, we won championship and, somehow people say, well, you want to go in the portal and I'm starting at Nebraska. You would have had to give me, like, I don't know, like 6 times what I was. It would have to be something like, hey, I got to do this, right? Yeah. That type of money that they're potentially talking about him, you got to do it because you can't replace that. But also, I think it'd be good for him, for Chucky, to maybe get a fresh start and bring it. And he can have a big influence on that program in a short amount of time because he has really good leadership skills. He's stable. And I'm a big believer that guard play is at a premium right now in all levels. And
they're dudes that can dribble and they're dudes that can shoot. But being a basketball player at the guard position, you're always looking for those guys.
He's a basketball player. He loves the game. He knows that he does the things that don't show up in the box score. So, also quick, CJ Wilcher is going to Texas A&M. That's interesting.
All right, CJ.
Yeah,
right.
Well, look, they saw him up close and personal. He had a really good year. Kind of slowed down a little bit, towards the Big Ten, tournament, and then obviously only one game in the NCAA, but showed really good for his last year coming off the bench. He graduated, so it's kind of like a free year to ball. St. Thomas, the former Millard North basketball player who's done a really good job he's transferring to USC, which is great. I think he averaged was he at Northern Colorado?
Northern
Colorado. I think he averaged pretty much 20 points a game.
Yeah.
A 3-level score. Obviously, he's gotten better since high school. Played on a phenomenal team. Great for him. And then not only did Wisconsin lose Chucky, Fred Hoiberg got a commit from a Wisconsin guard shooter, right?
Yeah. Sejan.
And got hurt the first game of the year, battled through a back injury. So you're going to get a guy that's going to be motivated, hopefully healthy. So Nebraska keeps adding to the roster. So I think it's good time. Now we got one text here, Austin. 84-62. Exciting game Friday evening at Iowa West. Love me some sudden death. No, I do not.
Foreman, not about sudden death.
We were in triple overtime, and we lost in triple overtime.
Dang.
And this is after I've been getting to calls and texts. Austin, here's how the deal is, man. Here's my problem. Here and you know what? As much as I like to push kids and kind of, we got to do this better. You know what? You know what? I'm fine with it. You know what? I need to coach better, right? And the biggest mistake you can make is assuming that the team or the players that you got, no matter, even I always watch them all through high school because I'm fortunate enough to call games with Nick Sainert. Big shout out. 937 Ticket allows us to call games on Tuesday, Friday, Saturdays, all basketball season. So I'm able to see them, kind of do some scouting, know the kids, most of them. So you just assume like, okay, I trust them. Like, all right, you're going to show up ready to play. That did not happen. It has not happened. So that's my fault, right? Because what do I always say? And the thing is, I need to take my own advice, right? So we're having a little couch session here. I always say you can have the same team, the exact same play. Yes, Austin, I know. Okay,
you're on the couch. I'm taking notes.
You can have the same team that wins a championship in year one, and you come back in year two, it's not the same team.
Brand new. You
got to start over. And that's what UConn has done with Hurley. And that's what Coach Jay Foreman did not do. But I will tell you this. I've had a long talk with myself. If any of those kids' parents are listening, come Wednesday night, when you pick your kids up after practice, you're going to have a new young man get in your car. Because that ain't happening no more.
Mm.
And
fire me up, Coach Foreman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yo, listen, you talk about your sphincter mother. I'm puckered up tight. Okay. I ain't sleep all weekend. And I ain't sleep last night, but I had an epiphany this morning when I was in the gym. I said, you know what? I got to do better. And I'm going to do better because I want to coach like I always coach. I was trying to let them kind of 16 years old, like, okay, you guys are young men. Nah. No, we know what we're going to lock hands and we're going to do this together.
Business.
Yeah, we're going to stand on it. And we listen, come 2 weeks. We're going to get Casey's barbecue, and this will be a different team when we show up. But that was in there. The texter, listen what happened. We went to double overtime or something, and I don't know what we did, man. I'm mad at myself, but I was trying to prove a point. But these kids too young; they ain't getting the point. You know what I'm saying? You remember when you remember when Kobe in the playoff against the Phoenix, he didn't shoot.
Yeah,
and to prove a point, that's what I was trying to do. But I ain't Kobe. You know what I'm saying? I'm Obi. I'm without the K. You know? I'm Obi without the K, and it didn't work. I was trying to think like, hey, and you know what it is? I was over there pouting, man. I watched the game. I'm over there pouting. I'm looking at me like, Jay, you over there? I'm over there pouting, right? I want them to, hey, let's not have Coach pout. What happening? And the thing that's crazy, we played the number one team. We were playing up 17, right? So we're 16. We're playing up 7. We beat the number one team. Not with ease.
But you did it.
Yeah.
Never easy.
Yeah, and one of the parents I didn't know the coach had a beef with me or whatever. I guess they were walking past me. He was like, yeah, we owe this dude some payback. Hey, man, I just show up and do my thing, right? He's like, hey, I owe this dude some payback. Let's beat these dudes by 23. I had no idea. I'm like, hey, I just drove up here. These dudes, I know they good. I know we play. I assume we compete. We did. We start moving the ball, start hitting some shots, and, we did our thing. We won, That's probably why I was so disappointed at the second game.
But see, that's the beef. You made it look easy, right? The coach wanted you to be more fired up about it. You're like, yeah, I just came up, did my thing.
I dapped him up.
It's the ego thing, Jay. You didn't pat that coach's ego.
I dapped him up, man. I didn't know I didn't know about this to afterwards. You know when I found out about it? When I started getting complaints from the parents because I didn't coach hard enough in the second game. They said, hey, it was, by the way, you ain't do your job good enough in the second game. And the dude in the first game had some beef with you. So pretty much they said you should have been on one the second game. So now you about to see it then. So I'm printing right now. I will be on somebody's Instagram because I kicked the chair in Texas. And listen, I'm going to turn tables over from here on out. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin, or a quick break. We'll be right back. 5 o'clock hour. NFL draft, mock draft. So texters, text in. Who do you think are going to be the second and third quarterback gone? Then we're going to get into Matt Rule, some notes from his presser. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Does it seem like your clothes dryer doesn't dry like it used to? It may not be your dryer. It may be your dryer vent. When the vent becomes obstructed, it drastically reduces the efficiency of your dryer. Even worse, it can be a fire hazard. Here's the simple solution. Call Bryant. Bryant will thoroughly clean the vent and show you the before and after results. Call 467-1111. keep your dryer operating efficiently and your home safe. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Koppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
It's getting nicer outside, but it's still hit or miss in the spring on golf weather. Not at Double Eagle Golf. You're home for always 72-degree weather with no wind. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues are underway, but stay tuned for info on indoor golf tournaments and book your bay for after the spring game in late April. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf. Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com. The Red White Spring Game is coming soon. Do you know your tailgate meal for before and after the game? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate something for all Nebraskans, made in Nebraska. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you tailgate without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No spring game party or tailgate is complete without it.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly sunny skies, but it will be windy. The high around 77. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms with a low around 49. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers in the morning, otherwise mainly sunny and breezy. And the afternoon high around 69. Meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Quick segment. We'll get back on track.
Oh, we're good. We're on track.
We're on track?
Top of the hour.
Top of the hour. All right. Here we go. We're back in full effect here at 1040 O Street. We're Old School, brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill. Yesterday, I threw on some beef kebab. Was on and popping. And we got him from the Mercado when we do get some surprise. I can't wait. I always think he always shows up just when you don't expect him, so I'm waiting for him to come. Off the charts, man. I'm telling you, it was a great grilling day yesterday. After a long weekend of basketball. Not so much today because the wind looked like it's starting to slow down, but the wind gusts will probably blow out any flame that you have, and maybe a little bit dangerous too. So take the day off, but go get you some meat over there at the butcher shop. We got a texter 8462 said, "Don't be so hard on yourself." Hey, listen, man, a competitor is a competitor. I do not like losing at all, at anything. And look, I mean, I think sometimes when you're coaching, you every year is different, and it's always rough at the beginning. I think I've never, I love all the kids I've coached and coach right now. Probably why, probably so invested. I never, so you're playing against teams, all-star teams, which you never back down from a challenge. I don't necessarily call that coaching. You know what I mean? And that's no knock on anybody else. That's just purely, by definition, that's not coaching. And so it's like coaching the NBA All-Star game against, the Detroit Pistons. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Look, it's we got May's going to be huge for us, and so I think it's going to work itself out. But Texas said, don't appreciate that, appreciate the support. But the NFL draft coming up, Austin. It's
Thursday, Jay.
Yeah, Thursday, man. It brings back good memories for the guys that are potentially going to get drafted or going to get signed to NFL contracts. It's a anxiety-driven next 96 hours or however long, or next few days or week or whatever you say it. And because all your dreams are here, your first dream is to get to college. You do well enough to be considered, and you don't know whether you're going to get drafted. Anything can happen. You don't, it's kind of like, I would say it's like, I've never speed dated, but it's like when you go to the combine, you go in this room for like 15 minutes and then you're gone. It's like, okay, did he like me? Did they like me? Did I say this right? So you're like constantly always questioning yourself. Now, granted, if you're Caleb Williams and Jay and Dane, you don't have anything to worry about because you kind of dictate. But like in my position, you had to constantly evaluate yourself. Now, granted, if it was, the tape was the tape and felt like it was good tape and you had years of starting, the NFL draft doesn't work like that. NBA draft doesn't work like that. A lot of it's potential, need, timing. Are you a value pick or what they need in all, free agency or salary cap? All this stuff goes into it. And besides what you do on the field
that you have no control over.
You have zero control. And the greatest advice that says you don't need every team to like you. You just need one. And that's your starting point. And then once you get there, you can possibly lead from one to multiple. And that's when you can really, extend your career. But it's a great time. It's a stressful time. And I always looking at the mock drafts and look, I guess we could say Caleb Williams is going to be number one, right? I mean, it'd be a shocker if he's not. But after that, you've heard everywhere from the Commanders. Now, before we get into the draft, we'll give a little bit of update here that might change the draft potentially. Is the New York Jets traded Zach Wilson to Denver? I'm not sure if that's a good move for Zach Wilson to go with Sean Payton. You're going to get another chance. Sean Payton's hard on them quarterbacks, boy, and he don't have any time for a guy that's not accountable. You got to think he went through the grinder, and him and Drew Brees were lock and step, and both are now going to on their way to Hall of Fame careers, right? And especially Drew Brees. He's used to that type of work ethic. You saw what happened with Russell Wilson. Yes, you have an opportunity. I don't necessarily know if it changes the Broncos' plans, but it lets you know they actually need a quarterback. And so they're willing to take a flyer, per se, on him, which I thought was rather, when you say that was interesting?
Yeah, I would have to say that. To me, the question becomes, which is the better roster? The one that Zach Wilson has now in Denver or when he first started in New York? Because for all his shortcomings that we've seen as a quarterback prospect, I don't want to pretend like he was surrounded by, boatloads of talent when he first got there. So I would say I think he's in a better situation with the guys on the field around him. But I also think there's more immediate pressure now, whereas he could have learned behind Aaron Rodgers for a year, a couple years.
And he showed at times he kind of emulated him some and seemed like he was a better teammate, Aaron Rodgers protected him. You got to think that where he kind of like, remember he kept it out there that he might come back. They were going to trade for Kirk Cousins. Obviously, Kirk Cousins got hurt, but he didn't want another veteran coming in. I mean, Aaron Rodgers know how to. He was pawning, played the game, but Zach Wilson benefited from it. So that's an interesting nugget, and I think as we get closer, and Tuesday, Wednesday, obviously things will be lock and step. You might see another trade, but you will start to see maybe either smoke screens be put out there versus, okay, we can kind of guess who's going to be number 2. But according to Jordan Reed, who I think, there's Mel Kiper, there obviously was Todd McShay, there's numerous guys on NFL Network, but Jordan Reed is a former scout. He updated his late round picks Monday after the Broncos trade, but he does a really good job, and it's on ESPN. So he has Caleb Williams going number 1. Washington Commanders now are drafting Jaden Daniels. Now, he says it comes down to Daniels or Drake May. Now, I've seen where J.J. McCarthy possibly could go number 2. I'm not buying it, but by his guesstimation, it's Commanders and New England both will be drafting a quarter. I can't see New England drafting a quarter. I can see them trading down. They need players. And they Jacoby Brissett is a former Patriot. He knows the Patriot way, even though Gerard Mayo is there, who I think is going to be a pretty good coach here in the future. I think they need players. I think the connection between the head coach and the GM is better than it's ever been before. They are not a very talented team. Unless they feel like Drake May is their future, they won't take him at number 3. They feel like they possibly could get a quarterback late in 1 or possibly round 2.
Which would fit with them and the Vikings as a trade partner.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Or the Raiders, potentially. Yes. Those are the teams that I've been hearing want to move up, probably for a quarterback.
Right.
So if you're in New England, you want to get at least 2, if not 3 picks out of being at number 3, where you still have at least 1 good option still on the board, depending on who Washington goes with.
Because Minnesota's under pressure. You didn't sign back Kirk Cousins. You really haven't done anything in free agency.
Losing hold on the division right now.
Yeah, immediately. And you got to think Chicago with their off season, they're on the uptick. Detroit is there. Green Bay with Jordan Love. Now they have their quarterback. So there's no question of that. You could be at the bottom feeder. You lost Danielle Hunter as far as their pass rusher. So, Harrison Smith is in one of his last years. So you're not the same.
About to have to pay Jefferson,
and he's reluctant now.
And Addison's not a 1,
right? And he's not mature enough yet either with the off-season off-field stuff. I just wonder what the Vikings will do to make sure that they get the 3, or will you be okay with rolling the dice and hoping that you stay at 8 and you get J.J. McCarthy, because that's a good fallback plan for them, right? You wonder what they would do, because here's a team that could sneak up. Like, by all the mock drafts, you say New York Giants are getting a receiver. So it's either Neighbors or a Dunzy from Washington. I still do not think they believe in Daniel Jones. No. I still think that they, even though they committed a lot of money to him, it's generally in the first 2 years. So they were going to keep him anyways. You have a rookie-on-rookie contract, and I can see them at number 6 just turning this draft upside down if everything stays pat. If New England doesn't get their big as far as picks for that number 3 pick.
Would you trade up to 3 if you're the Giants, or do you wait and see who's there at 6?
If there's I always feel like if there's a guy that you think is that good, then you got to go get him. Because I will say this: I like Daniel Jones. I think he's a lot like Justin Fields or he has not been surrounded by good talent. Saquon was hurt, and then they didn't want to sign Saquon back. Saquon had a really good year. Was good last year, not as good as the year before.
Never had receiver
talent. Not really talented. Offensive line was suspect at best, right? The first round pick is okay. Thomas, the first round pick. Everybody else has kind of been a revolving door. I think you could get Daniel Jones, somebody that say like they don't get a quarterback, and you can get it. It's a 1-year deal, a lot of money. You'll be splitting the salary cap. If you could work that out a way as far as like who's paying and, the dead money and all that stuff. If you're able to trade up to number 2 or number 3 to get it. And if I'm the Vikings and I really want Jaden Daniels, or I want to make sure I get Drake May, because I think the Vikings like Drake May a little bit more than J.J. McCarthy, I got to do it. Even if you have to trade maybe a good player. You got to think, they don't have a lot of assets that you could really do it. I was thinking you can't trade Harrison Smith. He's a stalwart, but should you? To New England or Commanders? I mean, that's
you don't want to, but if that's what gets you your quarterback of the future, don't you have to?
Yeah, he's got to sign off on it though.
He does.
I don't know. I shouldn't even put that out there because I have a ton of respect for him.
Same.
He's a great player. He's a Pro Bowler last year. I could see it happening. It would be enticing if it saves me a draft pick. Why not? But I don't think they'll do it. I think they'll give away draft picks for it because I don't think teams value draft picks as much as they used to.
Or as much as they should.
As much as that's it better, much as they should. That's going to be interesting. It seems like ever since the guys declared for the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. probably needs to go ahead and look for real estate in Arizona. So that's there. Then Jim Harbaugh, he pretty much told you, and his quote is here: the offensive line has always been the hub of the offense with my teams, and that means Jim Harbaugh. He actually put a lot of money into their offensive line when he was in college in the NIL. Joe Alt from Notre Dame, head and shoulders the most consistent and best offensive tackle, number 5. I like that pick. I like number 4 pick. Then it gets a little dicey there. You got Giants with Neighbors, the Titans with another receiver, even after signing Calvin Ridley to a huge deal. And you got DeAndre Hopkins entering his final year. They're trying to give Will Levis some weapons. That's a lot of money if you draft Rome at number 7. You got a first-round pick. You got a huge free agent guy. And you got a veteran borderline Hall of Fame receiver with a 1 year left. You got to move him. You got to move him maybe to a better situation. But if they draft him, there you go.
Is he a guy Kansas City should look at?
I would. 1 year, inspired, played well at times.
Different body type.
A great list with Rice in his off the field trouble. He's going to be suspended for some time. You bring in DeAndre Hopkins with the way Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball and place it. It gives a new life on to Travis Kelce and Mahomes. That's the place that I would go. I would be in there talking to. That's where I need to go. And you could in Kansas City could get him for cheap.
What do you have to give up? Are you going a late round pick?
Yeah,
late round picks.
Yeah, a couple late round picks. And there's comp pick or whatever. You could get him for a 5 and 7, and you can spread out the years. Easy for that type of player. That's a no brainer. And it's already a 1 year contract, and he's going to be motivated, kind of like Stephon Diggs. Then you got the Vikings with J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold is going to be the starter. I guess Sam Darnold would be a good person to learn under. That's questionable, but people like J.J. McCarthy. I think he's talented. He just doesn't have the volume of throws to put my hat as a franchise. but I think he brings a winning dynamic, right? I think he's well coached. Jim Harbaugh is a phenomenal quarterback coach. And so I think he's coming in probably maybe from that standpoint, coaching-wise, definitely ahead of Drake May, definitely ahead of Daniels. If I'm talking about being coached in college and know what it takes. Inexperience of throwing the ball is there. And that's just by who Michigan was. It's a safe pick. At number 8, I think he's the guy you take, especially if you need a quarterback, because there's you can't wait around for next year.
Is he Power 5 Trey Lance?
No, because he's played enough. He's played enough.
Okay.
Yeah, he's played, but it's a good experience. If he came out last year, I would say yes.
Okay.
The fact that he played well this year, we saw him up close and personal. And the bigger the game, the better he played.
Yeah.
I like that. The better the competition, he showed up. He brought him back against Ohio State. He won a national championship. I like it. I'm not in love with him. I like it. I think if he gets good coaching by O'Connell and the offensive line, get that running game going, get chemistry with Justin Jefferson, late in his
what do they do at running back? Because they obviously shipped Cook off, and then Madison's gone too.
Madison didn't. Well, they thought Madison was Cook 2.0. That's probably something you could dress in 2 or 3 or get a stopgap. Sure. You got to think Deontay Foreman could be a trade that you could get from Chicago. You could trade to get a veteran and draft a rookie. The cap room in that running back room would be fine. The cap number.
Right.
I like J.J. McCarthy. I'm surprised he's ascended this quick. But I think, with the stamp of approval of Jim Harbaugh. Then you got Dallas Turner, I think he's the best defensive player in the draft, without a doubt. And then the Jets according to this, Brock Bowers, who I think is the most unstoppable offensive guy in the draft. I like him. I like him better than Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has the potential to be a Hall of Fame receiver. I think this guy right here in the first 5 years is going to be one of the top tight ends out there. He can do it all. He can inline block. He can block in space. He can catch. He can run routes. He can separate. Tough as nails. And he well coached, and he loves football. And he comes from a championship pedigree. From the day he stepped on campus, it's been nothing but work. Now,
that's right. The Vikings signed Aaron Jones.
Yes,
forgot about that.
Yes, he did.
Good call,
and Aaron Jones has the worst hairline of anybody ever seen. Bro,
not great.
Bro, you gotta let them dreads go. They got Latu from UCLA, who I think is probably the best pass rusher. You worry about, like he says here, is he Vic Beasley, who had that one breakout year from Clemson, kind of an NFL bust, resurgence with Tennessee. I like him though because he's been consistent since he's been at UCLA. And heck, you know what? Give Chip Kelly credit. He did good right there. Philly going to get a corner. Arnold, he's a lockdown corner. Opposite Darius Slay, James Bradbury, so. Darius Slay is a good guy to learn from. Get some youth in that room. I like that. Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Oregon State. I watched him on a Friday night. He's impressive, dude. A big dude that can move. I think he's better than a 13th pick, but you're getting value. And then New Orleans Saints, they missed on Penning, who was from the senior, when he was at the Senior Bowl, you thought he was going to be plug and play at right tackle, bring some toughness. Man, he a turnstile. And he did steroids. That didn't even help. So they're in the line for the big guy from Penn State. I think if I'm Penning, I try to get back in there. Fashanu, who we saw at the Big Ten Media Days when I was out there with DP and Rashawn and Farley. He's a potential guy. He needs another year, but he's probably the best upside, but he's got to get there. And then here we go to your Colts here.
Bring it.
Trying to do right by Anthony Richardson. After you got Pittman, I like Josh Downs. I think Richardson is a better passer than people give him credit for. Just needs to learn how to get out of bounds. They get him another. I like what Indianapolis is doing. We're invested in you. You are our what? You are our franchise quarterback. They get him another receiver, Thomas from LSU. I like this dude.
I do too. Wide receiver and corner are definitely where they're mocked to. Would I be shocked to see the Colts trade down? I would not.
Yeah, and they could.
Because I mean, Pittman Jr. is a 1B. I don't think he's a true alpha. I think he has the volume of a 1, but I don't know if he's that true take over a game guy. Josh Downs, I really like in the slot. He really came on strong. And I didn't even hate Alec Pierce, right? I think when he was open, he didn't get the ball, and then he struggled a little bit early in the year. So I'm not mad if they take a receiver here.
But you can get one late though. You can get one late. You can get the 2 guys from Texas.
Ballard likes OL quite a bit. Probably need a linebacker at some point, which maybe that's not a first round thing. But if you get another pick later in the draft to take another linebacker, if you tell me Brian Thomas Jr. and Michael Pittman Jr. are the Colts starting outside receivers next year, I'm on board. That's 3,500 yards for Richardson, I think. But I'm not sold the Colts are picking at 15 unless it's like Bowers fell or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that then you got to take him. That card will be turned in with the ultimate quickness. I think that corner, there's plenty of corner. You could get my man Kool-Aid McKinstry too if you trade back down in the first. And then the best corner that I've seen is my man from Toledo, Mitchell, who has the best skills. What I talk about more, what I mean is plug and play ready. Him and Arnold are battling in this offseason who's going to come the starter. So that's a guy that they could trade down and possibly get. I want to skip Austin all the way down to, because it's the run on offensive linemen. Obviously Seattle, Miami. I want to go down here to, and then you got the Cardinals. I want to go to Kansas City, and because we talked about it before, they got them taking Mitchell. I don't think he fits what they do. They need a guy like a Rice, because they're going to have to replace Rice for some time. Mitchell's a kind of a little bit of a slender guy, but he's phenomenal. It's going to be interesting to see. I think DeAndre Hopkins allows them to trade down. I would rather trade for DeAndre Hopkins, trade down, and maybe get some interior defensive line help or some offensive line help or another tight end or something like that later in the draft. So it'll be interesting to see what Kansas City does, because it's going to be it's a year with Rice. Rice was the guy, but he no longer can be counted on.
He can't, and that's
right now. Just right now.
For what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of the season, maybe 6. I don't know, but Kansas City is a dynasty in the making.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not.
Well, they're a
many
dynasty right now. Yeah.
Okay, sure. They're the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Right now is essentially what they are. We saw the Rams go all in. I mean, the Rams have their first round pick since like 2016.
They went all in for 1 year.
Right.
But they
paid off.
Yep. And then they drafted well and developed well, and they're back in the playoffs last year.
And Kansas City has drafted pretty well.
Yeah.
Under Veach, they've managed the salary cap pretty well. You can't afford to waste a year of Patrick Mahomes, but you also can't afford to overreact to 1 year, right?
Right.
It's true that Patrick Mahomes didn't have much help on offense.
No.
I think Kelsey's going to come back a little bit better, maybe a little bit more focused this next year. So I think you get another 1,000-yard season out of him. We'll see how long it takes for Rice to reacclimate.
Yeah.
But there's a very fine line Kansas City has to walk in getting Mahomes help and continuing the dynasty for as long as they want it to go.
Right. Yeah.
You can find a Marquez Valdez-Scantling out there every year without having to trade up for a rookie who's going to take time to learn a complex scheme who might not be the best.
Yeah. And with the pressure too.
Yes.
And took Rice a little bit, but he took the bull by the horns. DeAndre Hopkins, one thing he can do is catch the football.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the separation that he used to, and that's to be.
Well, Kansas City didn't have a contested catch guy last year.
Right. But that's where he does. That's where he strives. And Patrick Mahomes being able to place balls with his arm strength to be good. You mentioned the Rams. They're supposed to pick an outside rusher. They're losing Aaron Donald. Jared Verse is probably, the second or third edge behind Dallas Turner and Latu. I think I like him. I want to go down to my Buffalo Bills here. Whereas we're projected to take a receiver, Xavier Worthy, who's definitely worthy of that pick at 28. I like the pick that they have for Detroit and Cooper DeJean. First of all, listen, homeboy can flat out ball on the basketball court. He is probably pound for pound the best athlete in the draft. He gives you return ability, right?
As long as he's not fair catching.
Yes, as long as he's not fair catching. And the kicking and punting game, and he's a lockdown corner. And then he can transition to safety. Micah Hyde is still out there. You can bring him back as kind of like a big brother. He's a former Iowa Hawkeye. I actually trade with Detroit to get Cooper DeJean because I think I can get a receiver that's going to fit with Josh Allen because Josh Allen and his off-schedule ability lessens the learning gap. Whereas Kansas City's a timing, you got to read coverage. So I can get a receiver that can pay off dividends and not use a first round pick. But I got a cornerstone, kind of like a Brian Branch, that's a do-it-all, plug and play, affects the game in all three phases.
Because the defense has been going downhill for Buffalo.
Yeah.
They had a pretty talented unit that maybe didn't live up to expectations. Then it got older. Then it got a little bit banged up. So I think going defense would be smart. But what kind of receiver are you looking at for Buffalo? Are you looking at a Stephon Diggs type? Are you looking at a Gabe Davis type, an all-around guy? What kind of receiver? What body type?
For Buffalo, I mean, Stephon Diggs, look, 4 straight Pro Bowls, 4 years over 1,000 yards. Oddly enough, I'm looking at it. I'll take your boy. I'll take my man Ladd McConkey.
Ooh, okay.
I like that. First of all, he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 2, his route running is off the charts. He's smart, championship capabilities, gives you some return ability, has enough size. I like his type. If you're trying to replace a Gabe Davis, and maybe you think Shabazz or somebody like that as your slot, then you have to go and think about a guy like Xavier Legette, the big, pretty much, height, weight, size, speed phenom from South Carolina, straight line speed.
Is he like DK Metcalf 2.0?
I was just about DK Metcalf, but the size of him, and then you hear him talk, he has that Mike Tyson high pitched voice. I think you can do that. I think you got plenty of guys like that. I also wouldn't, if a guy if you're feeling like you want to really shore up the defense, right? If you don't want Cooper DeJean and maybe he's gone, you could get somebody that's going to pay, plug and play from the very beginning and be in your rotation. Chris Jenkins Jr., coming from Michigan, great pedigree. Chris Jenkins Sr. was a great player in his own right. There's plenty of guys that they could get as far as them being able to help Josh Allen, help the defense. I feel like with the depth of receiver, I think you can get the same bang for your buck in the second round. You got to think, you got Troy Franklin, a little light. Now, it'll get too windy for him, Buffalo, so he ain't going to do it. But you got Polk, who, depends on who you ask, he's just as good as Nduze, right? But I think Nduze has a little bit more of that dog. But Polk is a guy with the speed, the size that can come right in. You got to think with him. I mean,
Keon Coleman.
That's a big body receiver. Now you just got to get that motor going, right? You got to get that motor going with him. There's plenty of guys. If you really want somebody that's really ultra tough, I don't even like giving him credit. Roman Wilson, he's legit. And you talking about a guy that's 6 foot 6'1", 4.4 flat 40, good hands,
good Senior Bowl.
So it's what you want. Here's what I would say. I would say this before we go to break. For Josh Allen, he needs a good receiver, or a good or great receiver that's consistent, that he can count on. And then the onus goes on him, on Josh, to do better. To play, consistently continuity with him. I think that some of the guys like Worthy and Mitchell, their body types don't fit Buffalo.
Cold weather, January stuff.
Listen, when I walked into minicamp, I was looking at Kevin Williams was our slot, who was a former Miami Hurricane and won numerous Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys. You had Eric Moulds outside, 6'2", 215, 20 pounds. My man yoked up out the gills. And Andre Reed. Big receivers. You need it. Big, tough, physical receivers that can run, catch, and cause some problems.
Is there a Hines Ward for Buffalo? Hines Ward type?
Yeah, that would be great. Especially, be the guy. But I think that's what you get with McConkey is a move the chains guy. And you've seen, even what's the crazy dude that came up from Dallas, number 11, little white dude.
Cole Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley was great. They picked him up on like a Monday. He was balling on Sunday. Because in this system with Josh Allen, the slot actually is a little bit more needed than the outside guy. Because that's when he breaks the pocket, who's the first guy you see?
Slot.
Right? And then when he breaks the pocket and it's an extended, Stephon Diggs. So there's plenty of guys. You got Ricky Purcell, who's going to be an underrated receiver. from Florida. You got Corley from Western Kentucky. There's a ton of receivers to get. But don't be surprised if Buffalo tries to get an edge either. Von Miller's long in the tooth. Espinoza is when he plays, it seems like when he plays well. Russo came on. He had 10 sacks last year, but getting another one I think helps as well. You can't have enough edges and defensive line. So anyways, that's our NFL mock draft. We'll continue to go back. It's all 7 rounds. Haven't studied in there. I mean, you got plenty of guys in there. Big Kamari Lassiter in there. He's in there. His dad was Kwame Lassiter. He passed away, unfortunately, last year. So you want big stuff up for him. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, dive into the recap from Saturday's scrimmage and see what Matt Rule and company said about the scrimmage. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a child. Cedar started because one couple believed that they could provide a child with a better life. And that belief grew into the Cedars that we know today, a powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly sunny skies, but it will be windy. The high around 77. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms with a low around 49. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers in the morning, otherwise mainly sunny and breezy. And the afternoon high around 69. Meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes and family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding
and tailgating tradition. Burnouts, beer, and barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time, and you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Coppell. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. About to dive before we dive into spring football. Dave Dipple off the text line. He asked about the Steelers, O-line, D-line, wide receiver. They are projected, according to my man Reed, that to take J.C. Latham, offensive tackle from Alabama. This dude is a stud. Big man, 6'5", 365, will knock you out of the box. If you watched him when they played Georgia, he was explosive and had a really good year. They have a good tackle in Jones. They started him out in the right, but according to him, they're going to flip him over to the left and then put JC in there for Dan Moore. And then in the second round, it projected to get wide receiver, right? Roman Wilson. So offensive line, wide receiver, and then you think defensive line will be coming, which is a pretty deep class as well. So Pittsburgh Steelers are on the mend. They had a really good offseason when you get Russell Wilson in a prove-it contract year, and then you get the possible future of Justin Fields to learn from Russell Wilson and fits in well. I think Justin Fields, if he gets in the right opportunity and his mind right in Pittsburgh, could be one of the biggest gets and the easiest upside as far as trades and getting your value for it. Before we get into Husker stuff, Austin, I want to ask you about, did you see Caleb Williams on the pivot where he was talking about as a high school senior going in as a freshman, he expected, one of the things why he was mad is that he didn't come in and start day one over Spencer Rattler. He said he told everybody he expected to come in and beat him out. It was a constant conversation between him and Lincoln Riley. Obviously, when he got in, the rest is history. Oh, even Ryan Clark, who's, if you guys haven't had a chance, Ryan Clark is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, whether it's in the studio or in, this podcast and stuff. He looked at him like, dude, you crazy. At that time, Spencer Rattler was a projected first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you realistically expect to start over him? You've never played college before.
It's the realistic part, because I want every player in a recruiting class to step on campus believing that they're going to perform well enough to start, right? Having that confidence that they're going to pick things up quickly, they're going to get their body right, and that the starting job is there, especially quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a little bit of that arrogance about yourself. But it's one thing to work hard for it and do your best to win the job. It almost sounds like that was more arrogant, in the bad way, cocky, cocksure, selfish way, more so than I believe in my abilities. I'm going to do my best to chase him down.
Yeah, I wonder.
And that not delusion.
Yeah,
I don't think is the right word because you have to walk that line. But it's dumb to say.
Well, it's dumb to say and dumb to think. It's not even realistic. I wonder if it got to the point where, and this happens. And granted, Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. Do I think he's generational? And Patrick Mahomes? No, I really don't. I think he has mentally some deficiencies and also ball security. In that offense, I just think that Lincoln Riley will get you a lot of yards. I don't think he developed quarterbacks. That's just my opinion. I think he did. Actually, I'll take that back. I think he does a good job developing quarterback. I just think that offense is too loosey-goosey for the NFL. I think it could have been he was close enough to Spencer Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way his dad is, essentially, you held Lincoln Riley, foot to the fire. It's like you put him in or not. Now, granted, worked out perfect. He went in there against Texas and brought him back, and the rest is history. Now, he performed like he should have. I do think if you listen to what Spencer Rattler says and kind of read between the lines, that's what happened. And that's up to the coach. Now, granted, that's what you do. You hit your wagon, dude, end up going number one. Rest is history. Spencer Rattler will be looked at possibly as a value pick now.
Right.
So what he said is right, but I think the mindset's a little different. And that's what's probably turned off a lot of guys. If you listen to Merrill Hodge, he's a little bit of a Fruit Loop now. I mean, I saw him down the street. This dude's a little, but he's a good evaluator. He doesn't even think he's a top 4 quarterback.
Caleb Williams?
Yes, he does because of his stature, his inability to read coverages. This is according to him. He doesn't think he thinks other guys are more ready to play. He's not generational. If you listen to it tonight, I'll send it to you. Not everybody's sold on Caleb Williams. And I think it's statements like that. I think it's some of the stuff he does off the field because guys that have been there. Listen, if you're a quarterback at a major college like Nebraska, you better be the first one in, last one out. And there's no off days.
Right.
There's no fun time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Whether you're getting huge NIL money or you're getting huge money as being number one pick, nobody cares that you don't get free time because you're getting paid not to have free time. It'll be interesting to see how he handles it. You've already seen somebody from Chicago throw the shot over the bow. Leave that Hollywood stuff out there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You coming in this locker room, he's a grown man. His transition into the locker room will make or break his career.
Oh, absolutely it will. And a big part of that's going to be his dad.
Yeah.
Right. His dad is not responsible for him and he's not responsible for his dad.
Yeah.
But we're molded by our dads.
Yeah,
ideally,
but you know what?
Right? But you have to be your own man at some point too.
Right. So man up.
Caleb Williams
has
to take that step, right? And say, Dad, I appreciate it. This is my career. You can have your opinion, but you're not the power player in this anymore. This is me. This is my future. I have my agent. I appreciate you. I respect you. You're still going to be in the loop of all my decisions. But your last power play was trying to get me out of Chicago. Was threatening to stay another year in college, right?
Yeah.
This is my career. I have to own this if I want any chance to succeed in an NFL locker room.
Yeah, they're going to have that conversation, or his dad just going to have to just understand that this is the way it is. It's going to be big with his agent, but the agents are chumps a little bit. You would like to think, I think you got Kevin Warren there, Eberflus or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a good. I would say he's the head coach, but dude, you're on the hot seat. You can't really tell him anything. That's going to be huge. I will say this. In this day and age, you see this a lot in high school. And you saw it with LeVar Ball, and you see what other dads. Like, you got to advocate for your kid now. I mean, because when you see some of the stuff that goes on, just in particular, we're talking about club basketball or AAU basketball and how that affects kids getting recruited. You got it. Now, I shouldn't say got to. Let me use good language. you have to advocate for your kid.
Mm.
You have to, because if you don't, they will ruin your kid. So I do understand where he's coming from. And I do understand what he was doing, because before Chicago had this really good offseason, that's not a place you want to go. Now you can think whatever you want about Justin Fields, but if I'm a quarterback at Nebraska and I'm potentially going number one, or a quarterback at Kansas or whatever, I'm potentially going number one, and I know Justin Fields is a good quarterback, and you just drafted him, and you essentially took away assets, and then you gave him DJ Moore this year, and then you had 3 offensive coordinators, and then blamed him for it. I wouldn't want my son to go there and play for it. But ultimately, if you're the number one pick, you got to respect and also be grateful for, and go, you know what, go make a difference. And that's what I would tell him, go make a difference, a good, positive difference.
Business still has to be handled, but you're not the same big shot in the NFL you were in college anymore.
Yeah, you're not calling up.
Same business, different business.
You're not calling up the coach like you can in college.
No.
Because you know what you're gonna talk to? You're gonna talk to the secretary. You're not getting a text back. You're not FaceTiming the coaches, and you're not dictating anything. So do what you do best. Be a dad. Handle some of his marketing stuff, making sure the agent is doing what he's doing, and then be there for every game to support your son, because it's going to be a learning curve, no matter how good he thinks he is, and so forth and so on. So if that happens, it'll be good for Caleb's dad. But anyways, we talked a little bit longer about that. I want to get into that. But we'll take a quick break, come back, and we'll talk about one of the surprises that Matt Rule said has been a problem. And then we'll talk about that. Then we'll put a bow on this Monday. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 23rd is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, buy one, get one 50% off on Montova grilled artichokes. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Husker College Rodeo. Come on out to the Sandhills Global Event Center May 3rd and 4th. Cheer on your University of Nebraska rodeo team as they take on teams from all across the Great Plains region. Friday is college night, and Saturday afternoon kids attend free with purchase of adult general admission ticket at the door. Advance tickets on sale now at sandhillsglobaleventcenter.org. Tickets also available at the Fort South 56th in Lincoln. Don't miss the Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo May 3rd and 4th.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Tuesday, April 23rd versus the San Diego Mojo at Viejas Arena in San Diego. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 8 p.m. with first serve at 9. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly sunny skies, but it will be windy. The high around 77. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms with a low around 49. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers in the morning. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy. And the afternoon high around 69. Meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, you wanted more sweet and spice in your life, and now you've got it. At Wings and Rings, their brand new Hot Honey has all of Lincoln buzzing. Try their one-of-a-kind house-made sauce on the brand new Hot Honey chicken sandwich or their Hot Honey shrimp and slaw. And of course, you can get it on the traditional, boneless, or smoked wings that have made Wings and Rings your go-to neighborhood spot. Hot Honey was supposed to be gone on April 1st, but they're extending it indefinitely. So stop by Wings and Rings at one of their 2 Lincoln locations today, on O Street and on Village Lane.
Banking should feel personal, not intimidating. At Western National Bank, we're about real connections. Founded by 2 ordinary guys with an extraordinary vision to know each and every customer personally. Fees, they suck. Avoid all fees with Western National Bank's Compass checking account. No monthly fees, no minimum balances, and get this, 5.12 APY on the first $1,000. Open your Compass checking account online in 5 minutes or less at mywmb.com. Experience the difference with Western National Bank. Visit mywmb.com. Member FDIC.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, quick segment here, old school. Good stuff today, man. Appreciate the participation on the text line. Always. One-Eyed Ray said he would pass on Williams, just to not deal with his dad. But we'll see. I think it's it's a big juice in the squeeze. But I think, look, man, if you get in the right situation, right supporting cast, you mature on and off the field, I think it could work out for everybody, and that's what needs to happen. One thing from Matt Rule's presser, he said Chief Borders has been I wouldn't say a surprise. I know who he is. He was there last year, but he's been a problem. He said just consistently from the first week of practice all the way through.
Got the cut, won it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Chief Borders is probably the most improved player on our team, I'd say, through camp. I mean, Chief has like, you know what, I can play, and he's a problem out there. So I think we have the guys to do it. It's just constantly getting great at it.
I mean, that's great, for a guy that Chief Borders. I think I did a little research on it when he first came in the transfer portal. I think he was a USA Army All-American. Went to Florida. Great looking athlete, came in with high expectations, hadn't played a lot, at Florida, came in, plays, end up starting the first few games, I think, showed some flashes, not that many, not really consistent, probably making his transition to Big Ten and playing. I mean, essentially he's a freshman, even though he'd been in college for a few years. And so, look, he's, I think he's on pace to graduate or, close to it. And so you got to make decisions. Do I want to make the best of my opportunity? So it's always good when you have guys that come in and, don't get put on the milk carton, but then take advantage of the opportunity. And also you got to give credit to the coaching staff as well. So what I mean by that is, regardless of how it all turns out for Chief, now obviously he continues to play well. You expect him to play well during the season. But when you get guys out of the portal with 2 or 3 years left, that's why they do it, because they're here to develop guys, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the light to come on and get your whatever it has happened. It's obviously good. It provides depth at the worst case scenario, or it challenges MJ Sherman to raise his level of play, or whoever else. And you got Princewell that's going to be moving to Jack, I think, full time as well. So you just instantly, by the emergence of Chief Borders, got some depth and playmaking ability.
It's a position of need for Nebraska to get better, right?
Yeah.
Matt Rule talks about more turnovers. He talks about getting 8% better, at preventing third down conversions.
Right.
The way you do that is win 4 on 5, getting after the passer, being able to cover with 7 guys.
Yeah.
Having anyone, even if it's a rotation of 2 guys, step up at that jack position takes a lot of pressure off of your Robinsons, your Hutmakers, your Lenharts, guys like that, just to have that off-ball linebacker that can come bring pressure, they can back off into coverage, you can use in unique ways. If it's Chief stepping up, great. Someone has to.
Yeah, or multiple guys. Look, even when we play, we have multiple guys. I just talked about it earlier. I mean, I started, Jamel Williams played. I, started another position. John has played. I mean, that's the way it goes. You're going to need more than that. And look, besides quarterback and offensive tackle, pass rushers are the hardest thing to get. So if you can get a couple, it bodes well for not only the defense, but the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
And so good job on him. And then, obviously you want to put the bow on it with a good spring game. But it's been a great Monday. Big shout out to Strick for the crossover. I'm sure he's back up in the O, chilling right now.
Kicking it.
Yep, kicking it. Royals are next, but for Austin Orman, Jay Foreman, appreciate you guys today. We'll holler at you tomorrow.